Hey there, 8th grade. Welcome to lab number 2, Enzymes, seeing enzymes in action. Now, if you remember from our lecture video, enzymes help break down substances in our bodies so we can get to the smaller parts. One of the enzymes that I introduced to you in the lecture was the enzyme of catalase. Catalase is present in almost all living beings that have been exposed to oxygen. And the role of catalase in our body is to break down hydrogen peroxide to its component parts, water and oxygen. Hydrogen peroxide is present in our body. We actually produce it ourselves throughout the oxygen cycle. And in small amounts, it's actually pretty good for our body because it helps kill off bacteria. In large amounts, though, it's really harmful. It can give you gray hairs. So we're going to see catalase in action, breaking down hydrogen peroxide into water and oxygen. Here is the reaction that we'll be seeing today from hydrogen peroxide to water and oxygen. To do this experiment at home, you're going to need a container. I'm using a beaker because I've come into the classroom, but you could use one of the Pyrex measuring cups that I used, or any other safe container. You're also going to need just regular old hydrogen peroxide. You can buy this at any drugstore, supermarket. It's pretty standard to have in first aid kits as well. Now, the highest concentration solution of hydrogen peroxide that you can buy on the market is 30%. This is only 3%. Pure hydrogen peroxide is actually pretty harmful. It's really caustic, which means it burns the skin. So we're using the safe amount, hydrogen peroxide used for cleaning cuts and wounds. This is 3%. You're also going to need a potato. Potatoes are very rich in catalase, the enzyme that we're going to be working with today. So you'll take your potato, cut a slice off of it, freshly cut potato. You're going to take your hydrogen peroxide. You're going to carefully pour it into your container. It doesn't really matter how much you have, I guess enough to fill the bottom. And take your potato slice and drop it in. And we'll observe what is happening. Anybody see what's appearing on top? Let me see. I'll go to another view. Can you see? My terrible videography skills. I don't know if you can really see what's going on here, but it's pretty impressive. I can actually hear some of the bubbles. Now the hydrogen peroxide that I poured into this beaker is reacting with the natural catalase found in the potato. Can you see the bubbles that are forming? What are bubbles? If I leave this here long enough, this whole thing will be filled with bubbles. There's actually one that I did earlier, a test beaker. Can you see the bubbles in there? I can actually hear the bubbles popping. So, when you do this at home, just know the reaction that you are causing is hydrogen peroxide interacting with the enzyme catalase. The enzyme is breaking down the hydrogen peroxide into its component parts, water and oxygen.